U.S. and Israel recall teams from Gaza ceasefire talks amid Hamas proposal. Imagine the frustration and tension as peace talks crumble. The United States and Israel have abruptly withdrawn their teams from ceasefire negotiations in Gaza following a proposal from Hamas that the U.S. Special Envoy, Steve Witkoff, deemed unsatisfactory. Witkoff accused the Palestinian group of lacking the necessary commitment to achieve a ceasefire. But here's where it gets controversial. The U.S. and Israel's decision to pull out of the talks has sparked a flurry of reactions and raised critical questions about the future of the conflict. Witkoff announced the withdrawal in a statement on Thursday, just hours after Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office revealed that Israel had also recalled its negotiating team from Qatar. This move came after Hamas submitted its latest response to a ceasefire framework proposed by mediators Qatar, Egypt, and the U.S. Netanyahu's office confirmed receiving the response, but did not disclose its contents. Hamas, for its part, expressed surprise at Witkoff's remarks, asserting its commitment to continuing negotiations and achieving a permanent ceasefire. The humanitarian crisis in Gaza continues to worsen, with at least 115 people dying from malnutrition since Israel launched its war in October 2023. The United Nations and aid agencies have warned of mass starvation due to Israel's severe restrictions on aid. Witkoff criticized Hamas, stating that the group does not appear to be coordinated or acting in good faith. He hinted at exploring alternative options to bring hostages home and create a more stable environment for Gaza's residents. The current proposal under discussion includes a 60-day ceasefire, during which Hamas would release 10 living captives and the remains of 18 others. In return, Palestinians imprisoned by Israel would be freed, and aid supplies would be increased as both sides negotiate a lasting truce. However, the details of the current sticking point remain unclear. Officials from both sides have previously pointed to disputes over what would happen after any new ceasefire. Israel has repeatedly stated its intention to deploy military forces long-term in Gaza, aiming for a complete defeat of Hamas, despite warnings that this goal is unrealistic. Earlier this month, Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz reportedly proposed a plan for the forced transfer of Palestinians to a humanitarian city within Gaza. This maximalist approach has been criticized for potentially violating international law. Israel's government has also faced domestic pressure over this plan, with concerns that it could derail ceasefire negotiations and prevent the release of captives still held in Gaza. Reporting from Washington, D.C., Al Jazeera's Shihab Ratansi noted that it remains unclear whether the U.S. withdrawal from the talks is a negotiating tactic or a genuine end to negotiations. It's a very sternly worded statement, talking about alternative options for a more stable environment for the people of Gaza, Ratansi said. We know that Trump simply hasn't ruled out ethnic cleansing, so-called self-deportation in his words, of Palestinians. Right now, we simply don't know whether it's a negotiating position or the end of the negotiations, Ratansi added. Israel's war in Gaza has resulted in at least 59,587 Palestinian deaths since it began in October 2023, following a Hamas-led attack on southern Israel that killed at least 1,139 people. This week, more than 100 aid groups blamed Israel's restrictions on aid for the mass starvation in the enclave, and this is the part most people miss. The humanitarian crisis in Gaza is not just about numbers. It's about real people suffering. The international community must ask itself, what more can be done to alleviate this suffering and bring an end to the conflict? Is the current approach effective, or is it time for a radical rethink? What do you think? Should the international community intervene more aggressively, or is diplomacy the only viable path forward? Let's discuss in the comments.